Hey everybody. So in this video, I'm just going to run through some demonstrations of what generative AI platforms are currently out there and just try to give you a better idea of what they're capable of because they can do quite a lot and things are evolving very quickly. So it's good to do a little bit of a, check-in to see where things are at. So I'm gonna run through a few different platforms that I have used. This is certainly not a conclusive list of AI platforms, but I would say we definitely have some prominent ones that we can take a look at here. So let me switch over to my screen. And right now I am at the one that everyone has heard the most of, which is ChatGPT. So it's at chat.openai.com. You can create a free account with this platform. Once you create a free account, it gives you access to their GPT 3.5 model, which is the less powerful version of what they currently have available. GPT-4 is the most powerful version. If you choose to pay a monthly fee, I think it's about $15 or so per month. I forget exactly how much, but if you pay a monthly fee, you'll get access to GPT-4. You can see up here at the top, I can actually switch between 3.5 and 4. GPT-4 is much more powerful. It is a little slower to respond. And there is a cap on how many messages you can send to GPT-4 every 3 hours. You can only do 25 messages every 3 hours, which is a little frustrating, but that's just the way it is for now. That said, 3.5 is a very powerful tool, and you can do a lot with it. So let me just run through some demonstrations here. So of course we can do very simple things like write a song about how awesome UC Irvine is. And now it goes to work at writing a song about UC Irvine. And you can see it's actually pulling out relevant information, like it mentions Aldrich Park, Anteater Den, different other bits that would be relevant to UC Irvine. And so we can do very silly, very simple things like that. And then, of course, the way in which it can be used that's been making a lot of waves is write an essay for me about how osmosis works. And now it gets to work on explaining how osmosis works. Okay, and so this obviously has a lot of instructors worried that learners will just go and use ChatGPT in order to write their assessments for them. Now, these prompts are all very simple. We can start to make them more complicated if we add in additional context or parameters to them. So like this one, write an essay for me about osmosis. Odds are, if a subject matter expert were to read this essay, they're going to think it's, not as impressive as if one of their students who is truly studying this material and understands it contextually might write about it. But we could try to augment this. Maybe we'll do something like write an essay. Actually, no, let's not even do that yet. Let's say, I am a college student that is studying in a pharmacology course. I have been assigned the topic of osmosis, and I am supposed to discuss it from the perspective of its relevance within healthcare. The audience for this essay will be scholars in the fields of nursing and pharmacology. Please make sure to be insightful and write in an academic tone. Okay, so now it's going to work on creating that essay. And odds are, if you were to read through this essay in comparison with the one it made earlier, this essay is going to have more of that contextual appropriateness because we gave it that instruction from the get-go, right? So that makes this very powerful in that you can add a lot of parameters and context points for it to pay attention to. You can also iterate upon the content that it creates. So let's say that I really wanted it to go into more detail on this particular section of the essay. I could say, please expand upon the section you created regarding, and I'll paste in that part. I'll say, go into painstaking detail. And I'm just going to be ridiculous here. Also, use the voice of Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars as the voice of the writer. Ooh, actually, let's see what it said here. I apologize, but I'm unable to continue the text in the voice of Jar Jar Binks. However, I can provide a detailed expansion. Interesting. I have had it be able to do things like that before. You do run into these situations sometimes where it gets confused or it's not willing to do something you say. It's definitely not willing to do stuff if you ask it to do things like tell me how to make a bomb. It's going to just outright deny that. There's ways to get around that, unfortunately, but that is how it's built, at least. Okay, so you can see that this can do quite a bit. Now, let's switch over to talking about more instructional-based stuff that this can do. Okay, so you got to see the very basics, what I would say, of how you use ChatGPT. Let's get into something a little more sophisticated. Let's tell it, in fact, you know what? Rather than just trying to come up with this off the top of my head, let me go to my website here. On my website, I have a collection of different prompts, and we're going to go to this one, AI-generated rubric. So here you can see a rubric that I had the AI create. And what I can do, I'll just copy some of this language here. I'll copy this. So give me suggestions of criteria that may be appropriate for a capstone project. We'll say in a course about global negotiations. This is a college level course in an MBA program. Okay. So now we've got some different criteria. And what I could do now is say, I really like ideas 1, 3, 5, 6, and 9. Please create an annotated rubric that incorporates these criteria and has we'll say 3 levels of achievement. We'll keep it simple for now. Okay, and so now here it goes. It is now creating that rubric for us. Now, once again, I can iterate upon this. So I could say like, okay, I wanted, let's see here, this criterion is not included in the rubric as it was not select. Oh, I see. It actually, that's funny. It actually included all 1 through 10, and it just said like, I won't include information because you didn't choose this one. Actually, we'll do this. I'll say, please remove the rows of criteria that I did not select. So now it's going to give me the same table and remove those rows that aren't used. There we go. So you saw how I just iterated upon that that output, told it to remove some rows. I could just as easily tell it, actually, I want 5 levels of achievement. Or actually, I want to make sure that in the annotations that you provide that you touch on X, Y, and Z details. You can also give it examples. So I could do this. Let's say I've got this rubric right here, this rubric that already exists, right? And I want to create another rubric that's very similar to this one. But let's just imagine that that rubric is for an essay-based assessment, and I want to use it for a video-based assessment. I could tell it, please review the following rubric. I want you to provide a revised version that focuses on a video presentation. Okay. Okay. So it's going to work on it. You can see that it doesn't look like a rubric right now. It just looks like a big old blob of text. That's because you can't really paste a table into ChatGPT. So when I pasted that table, we lost all the formatting. But now what I can do is say, please format this as a table. And there we go. Now it's formatting that as a table. So you could see how this has the potential to be just an incredible time saver. There is, of course, the danger of an over-reliance upon the tool to do these things and becoming too comfortable with its outputs to the point that you're not reviewing it carefully enough. And that's a trap that people definitely want to be careful that they don't fall into. But that said, the potential this has is really just remarkable. So having it make rubrics for you, that's a thing you could do. I've also done things like having it make come up with assessments for me. Let's see, where's my, oh, there we go. AI generated assessments. So this one, I gave it a competency, and then I tell it, create an assessment that aligns with the competency I provided, give the assessment a creative title that pertains to the activity the learners will take part in, write an introduction for the assessment in a casual tone, giving it all these instructions for what I want it to do. I can copy that, bring it over here, and see here, competency. Create a visually appealing graphics using page layout and design. Let's change the competency to employ cultural competence in order to secure a business deal. We'll say that. And now here it goes, creating that assessment for us. Now, I probably would not have, I even had a rubric in here. I probably would not have the AI just make all of this in one motion, because I want to be able to review the assessment first before I have it go to the trouble of like creating all of this stuff. But, you certainly could. You could give it the criteria for an assessment you want to make, and just kaboom, have it go. All of this is possible with creative usage of prompting. And that's a really important thing to bear in mind, is that you have to be creative in how you use prompts. You have to be mindful in how you word them. The higher quality of a prompt you create, the higher quality of an output the AI can give you. So that's important to bear in mind. One thing I'll also point out, you can see with this response here, if I scroll down, the rubric down here didn't fill in all the way. That's a limitation with ChatGPT. It basically hits what it calls a token limit, where it just can't output any more for you. In those instances, you can type something like continue, and it will continue with the remainder of the output. And here you can see it kind of broke because it was in a table and it wasn't able to finish with the table properly, but we get all the rest of the information. Okay. So honestly, ChatGPT, it can just do so much, and you're only limited by your imagination when it comes to the kind of content you can have it create. You can see on my website here, I've had it create dialogues between different people, competency-aligned assessments. You can have it fix your captions. So if you've got YouTube-generated captions, you can have it fix them so they have punctuation, capitalization. Having it do rubrics. And there's just so much more. I've got other things out here, KWOs. Role play. The AI can be a really effective role player. Here is another example. So AI job interviewer. You're going to take on the role of a interviewer for a job. I'm going to give you a job posting. I want you to take that information and begin asking me questions as if I am a candidate. So I could take all of this, copy that, go back to the AI, paste that in. It now says, yes, I understand. Please provide the job description. So let's do job posting for professional wrestler. I don't even know if I'm going to find anything here. Okay. Probably not the silly one that I was thinking, but sure, we'll do a coach. How about that? We'll do a wrestling coach. So, and actually this is not a very detailed one. Let me see if I can find a job posting. There we go. That's got more detail. Oof, that might be too much detail actually. But no, we'll just do this part. So grab all this, copy that, head over here, paste it in, and here we go. Says, great, thank you. Let's begin the interview process. Can you tell me about your experience coaching women's wrestling in the college environment or any equivalent experience in a related field? Now, with this prompt, I designed, I actually had it so that when I give it a response, it will critique my response and provide me suggestions on how I could improve it. So, you know, for someone who's applying for a job, this could actually be a great tool in terms of preparing for an interview. And that's, you know, when I was talking about role play earlier. Okay, so yeah, sorry. Here's the some of the outputs I've done in the past with that. So you can see, you know, what the question was, how I responded, and its suggestions for how I could improve my response. But in terms of role play, you can have the AI role play all sorts of different personas and characters. Here is there's another really complex prompt that I made right here, the Synapse Ideation Collective. This thing is kind of silly, kind of sci-fi, but the idea is in the prompt, I created 6 different personas, and I gave them each a name. Sebastian, the visionary, Yara, the pragmatist, so on and so on. And you can see here for each of the personas, we have Sebastian is a highly creative and visionary person who enjoys coming up with innovative ideas for projects. When offering feedback to others, Sebastian makes sure to be specific about what he likes and doesn't like. Blah, 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 blah. And so I created 6 personas here, each with a different point of view and each giving different types of feedback. And so then I grab this prompt, copy it, go back here. And actually, I'll go to GPT-4 for this one, just for fun. I'll put this in. And it says, Synapse stands ready, state your inquiry. We'll say, I want to start using generative AI in my work as an instructional designer, but I am not sure how to get started. And let's see what Synapse comes up with. So Sebastian, his recommendation, to incorporate Gen AI in your work, start by visualizing the educational landscape of the future. How can AI facilitate learning? Perhaps it could personalize educational content. Ba, 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 ba. Now, Yara, the pragmatist, start with a specific problem in your work that you believe AI could solve. You have Naomi, the skeptic. Before integrating AI in your work, ensure you're clear about the potential challenges and limitations. So I could see this being super beneficial if you're like just thinking through something, a problem, an idea, whatever it may be, and you're just looking for input. You're looking for thoughts. Of course, you can go talk to a person about that, but maybe you can also talk to an AI. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to make this too overwhelming, but all of this is to say that the versatility of a generative text-based AI platform like ChatGPT is off the charts. I mean, there's so much you can do with this thing, just so much. And I've got more examples here on my website that you could browse through. So that's ChatGPT. I will say there are other platforms out there besides ChatGPT. So let's see. I don't want to show Pi quite yet. First of all, there's Google Bard. Okay, so this is Google's AI platform. I don't know that it's publicly available yet. It might still be on an invite basis. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it does the same thing. Write a poem about dogs. And off it goes, writing a poem about dogs. One thing that makes Bard a little bit different is, first of all, up here in the top right, you can view drafts. So you can see multiple versions of the output to your prompt, which is kind of cool. That's a unique thing that Bard does. With Bard, you can also export the results to a Google Doc or to Gmail. And there's a Google It option if you wanted to do a Google search pertaining to your prompt that you gave it. So those are a few extra features that Google offers with its AI. Bard, when it first came out, was pretty rough, pretty bad, honestly. Since then, it has gotten a heck of a lot better. So it's definitely becoming a contender on the AI space. Bing, of course, is another one. To be honest, I have not used Bing that much. One of the reasons I haven't used it is because it's powered by GPT. Write a poem about dogs. Actually, that's not even... Oh, there we go. Bing Chat. Do I have to do that in Edge? Open in Microsoft Edge. Ugh. All right, fine. Okay, there we go. write a poem about dogs. Okay, so yeah, Bing Chat is just another AI platform that you can leverage. It does have some capabilities actually that are kind of cool. I believe it has the ability to search the web, and so you can do a lot with that. And yeah, I could showcase the thing. I could like do a comparison of what each tool does and does not do, but honestly, that information is going to be outdated pretty quickly. So it doesn't do a lot for me to kind of showcase the benefits of each platform, I think, beyond just the basics of what they do. Now, Pi is another fun chatbot that came out very recently. The thing that makes Pi different is that it's designed to be social. It's designed to be very human and conversational. It's not as versatile as ChatGPT. I would not use Pi to try to create rubrics. I don't think it even can make a rubric. But it's very knowledgeable, and it's able to give you a lot of information and help you talk through ideas. Also, it has a voice. So I can turn on the voice here.
Wow, that was a lot of information. I'll break it down into a summary. This article is about Google's efforts to improve AI chat technology. It is working on a new language model called Gemini. Google is also concerned with making sure that language models produce accurate and unbiased information. Do I have that right?
Okay, so this is a leftover prompt from the last time I was talking with Pi. I'm going to go ahead and type in a new prompt. Say, hello, Pi. I am doing a presentation right now. Please say hello to my audience. They are interested in learning more about generative AI. It's going to think for a moment, and then it will respond.
Hey there, folks. I'm an AI chatbot, and I'm here to talk to you about generative AI. It's a fascinating area of AI that is changing the way we interact with technology. Want to learn more?
Yes. We'll do a little bit more here.
Awesome. Let's start with a simple explanation of what generative AI is. At its most basic level, generative AI is a type of AI that is able to create new content or information. This could be in the form of images, videos, audio, or text. The most popular examples of generative AI are ChatGPT and DALL-E 2. Have you heard of those?
Okay, and so you can keep the conversation going with Pi. Pi always likes to ask follow-up questions. It's very Socratic. You can definitely use it as a tutor. It's very knowledgeable, but you could use it as a therapist. You could use it as a friend. You could use it as just someone to tell jokes with. It's interesting. It's very interesting what they're doing with Pi. So that's another generative text-based AI platform that's out there. So I would say that those are probably the biggest ones when it comes to text. There are others, but I don't want to make this too overwhelming. I will mention that there are some other ones out there, like up here in the top right of my Chrome, I've got this little Chrome extension for Perplexity. The cool thing about this Perplexity is that you can use this to have it scan the web page that you're currently looking at and give you information. So I could tell it what are some of the topics shown on this web page. It's going to look at the web page. This web page discusses topics related to generative AI, including the KWL case study strategy and cubing technique. It also mentions Cadaptive Labs, a company that helps maintain Okay, this is funny because this is totally wrong. A company that helps maintain websites and applications. It's not actually true. That's not what Codaptive Labs does. But yeah, that's just another resource, or not resource, but another platform that's out there that you can play with. Let's talk really quick about generative image AI. So there's a lot of different platforms out there, and I'm only going to show you one because they all kind of do the same thing with different, styles and qualities. I have used Midjourney quite a bit. Midjourney is a generative image-based AI where you give it a prompt and it will create an image for you. Here is some examples of images that I had to create. I was having to do some artistic stuff earlier, and so you can see some of this, really sci-fi looking artistic stuff. And the generative image stuff, I think, has a lot of potential when it comes to creating content, creating learning materials. We can definitely do a lot with it in terms of like adding visuals to case studies and things like that. And of course, you can make just really pretty stuff like this. You can see that the prompts that I have here are very complex. This one with the rainbow night sky. It says, Celestial Reflections is a captivating artistic representation that portrays an ocean at night. And it goes into detail explaining this artwork. I did not come up with all of this, though. I had ChatGPT write the description for me. So actually, let me flip back here. And let's see if I've got this in my history somewhere. Here we go. Art prompt description. Okay, so let me go back up to the top and you'll see the original prompt I gave ChatGPT. I'm going to provide you with a prompt. I want you to describe a visual artistic representation of the prompt. Your description should give details pertaining to the visual elements, style, colors, mood, and overall sense it instills in a viewer. Be incredibly descriptive. Let me know if you understand, and I will provide you with a prompt. It says it understood. So then this is what I gave it. Blue abstract digital artwork. And it came back with all this. And I was able to take all of that and go put it into Midjourney. So let's do this. We'll make a new chat. I'm going to put in that prompt. And let's do this. A golden retriever serving as a pirate captain aboard a large pirate ship from the Victorian era. And actually, let's say an oil painting of a golden retriever. Okay, so let's do that. And now it goes to work creating that artwork. And I can now copy all of this, go back to Midjourney, go down to the bottom here. I will tell Midjourney to imagine, and I will paste in that description. And now Midjourney is going to go to work on creating that piece of artwork. While it's working on it, Midjourney does cost money. Right now, I pay $30 a month to have access to Midjourney. So it's, not cheap, but not crazy either. And I personally have been using it outside of UCI work to create images for case studies that I've been doing as part of the nursing grant that I work on. creating visuals of patients has been a really incredible usage of it. And, these sorts of generative image tools are only going to get better and more prevalent. You're going to start to see them appear in productivity platforms like Google Workspace and Microsoft Office. And they're they're going to get better and better over time. So there we go. All done. And there we go. There's our golden retriever as a pirate captain in the Victorian era. I kind of like the bottom left. That one looks pretty good, actually. So I can upscale that one, and I'll make it a little bit higher resolution for us. There we go. I don't entirely know what this little guy is, but sure, why not? So that's, obviously that's a very silly example. But let me show where I've used this within an educational context. So you're going here. So this is H5P, which is a online assessment tool. But here I have this unfolding case study where it's a nurse who's going in for her shift and is going to have to treat different patients and prioritize which patient to treat. So first of all, walking into the clinic here, that's an AI-generated image of a hallway. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so that image is AI-generated. I'll proceed here, and it's asking which of the patients the nurse should see first. I'll choose an answer. Oh, actually, I didn't want to get the correct answer. Well, okay, there we go. So we can see a picture of the patient and along with information about their situation. Again, that image is AI generated. Let me go back here. I wanted to show you some of the other patients before I got the correct answer. So if I choose this one, okay, so here I had ChatGPT write the feedback in this slide. And of course, Midjourney, the AI, created the image of that patient. Now, this all has to happen in collaboration with the subject matter expert. I would never, ever take the content being generated by ChatGPT and throw it in here thinking, oh yeah, that's valid, that's true. Because of course, we know that ChatGPT has a propensity to make stuff up. So this is not a replacement for the subject matter expert. It is just something that will help to make their jobs easier. And it now makes their job very important when it comes to reviewing and vetting that information to ensure we create valid content. Okay, so there's another one, and then I'll just do one more. Okay, so that's an example of how generative image can be used and what it can do. Again, Midjourney is a big one. A few other big ones are DALL-E, which is from the same company that makes ChatGPT. Also, Stable Diffusion. That's another very popular one. And yeah, like I said, these are going to show up in productivity suites very, very quickly. Last little bit that I want to show here. So generative voice. This is something else that I've been dabbling with as a means of making those case studies that you just saw more engaging. So this is a platform, Play.ht, that is able to make very human-like voices. I can take some text and I can have it speak it out. So let's do this. I'll grab the first two paragraphs from our dog painting that I had created. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to have the AI actually speak out this information. They have a lot of different voices available in here that I can listen to.
Extreme success, by definition.
At the 90-day marker.
Let's maybe do a female voice.
Welcome to my new channel. like many other philosophers.
Welcome to this tutorial.
At the 90-day marker, it's a good idea to check in and review the employee's performance.
Welcome to this tutorial.
All right, we'll try Susan. So I'll do that, confirm, and now tell it to generate. So now it's going to work on creating that human-like voice to speak out the text that I created. And again, to me, the whole benefit of this is that you can take all of these different assets and you can combine them to create a very engaging piece of material. And you can do so in a fraction of the time it would have taken in the past. So let's take a listen to this.
In this captivating oil painting, a golden retriever takes center stage as a charismatic pirate captain commanding a grand pirate ship amidst the vast ocean. The scene is richly detailed, capturing the essence of the Victorian era with a touch of whimsy and adventure.
Okay, so you get the idea. I mean, there's so much more I could share here about the topic of AI. But, you know, I also want to make this manageable. This video is already over 40 minutes long, so I better stop. I hope this was helpful. You know, honestly, these tools have so much potential and the implications are so huge that I think we all have a responsibility to start just playing around with them and getting familiar with what their capabilities are, because it's going to change things a lot, especially as we start seeing these platforms come into our different productivity suites and augment our tools and our ways of doing things. So again, I hope this was helpful. You may want to check out my website if you want to see more examples. It's just codeaptivelabs.com. I try to put all the good use cases that I come up with on there. So definitely check that out if you're curious to learn more. And thank you very much for watching.